Mr. Bucky Irving, I'll get to that graphic in a hot second. He had himself, 7.8 yards per carry? And it is now being said by Todd Bowles that he has earned more touches in this offense after yesterday. Had about 70 yards rushing, I believe. You guys are big Bucky Irving fans. Like, you guys were talking about Bucky Irving before I was. So Steve, I'll go to you I'll go to you first in this one. The group chat was lighting up yesterday. What are your thoughts on what we've seen from Bucky Irving yesterday?
Yeah, actually, Pete was the first guy to mention Bucky Irving. He's
True.
he's the dynasty guy.
Yeah.
So I looked at Bucky Irving initially, and I'm like, all right, he's kind of on par with Rachaad White. Is he going to take his job? Not really. Then I looked at him a little bit more in depth, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, this could be a serious threat to Rachaad White. And I started drafting him more so than last year with all those bum ass running backs he had. And yeah, that's kind of the worry about Rachaad White, because his inefficiency is not the best player in the world. Good receiving back, but a lot of that is just catching dump offs and making plays. You got to be able to run the football too. So yeah, I mean, last year was a value. This year you were paying up to get him. It was a little bit dangerous. Got to pay the premium. Now he's got a good guy behind him like Bucky Irving, and Bucky Irving's definitely showing out. 9 for 70 on the ground versus 6 for 17 for Rachaad White. Todd Bowles saying he's earned more snaps. He looks like the better back as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm worried about Rachaad White right now. Maybe it turns into like a 50-50 thing. And maybe at some point Irving could some kind of, maybe leap him at some point. So yeah, if you're Rachaad White,
that far off too now,
Yeah.
Right. So, so you definitely worried as a Rachaad White owner. You're not gonna be able to deal him right now. You're going to be selling low. So, you're just gonna have to hold him and hope for the best. Maybe if he has a big pop game, you could trade him, or maybe Bucky Irving maybe gets hurt. Maybe you could do something like that. He's out for a game or two. You could trade off Rachaad White. But yeah, Bucky Irving owners, great value. Looks like a great player coming out of Oregon. So, a good player and pretty solid. And the Bucs will have better days on offense.
Yeah. Anthony, we go, buddy.
I was full fade Rachaad White and in on Bucky Irving all off season long after the draft. And a lot of it was the Irving skill set, and the big fact is that I remember early off season doing some player versus player analysis, and I saw Chuba Hubbard and Rachaad White had very similar efficiency metrics. And I'm like, yeah, this early down stuff, this workload's not going to last. And it could have been Sean Tucker last year if Sean Tucker was a little bit more competent. But, Tampa told us, taking Bucky Irving, hey, we want somebody else who's going to be more efficient with these touches. And Bucky Irving in preseason and training camp looks the part. And now early through the regular season, it's starting to happen. And in terms of fantasy production right now, Rachaad White, 9.5 fantasy points per game in PPR. Bucky Irving, 7.7. Now, Rachaad White did all of his damage in week 1. He had 16.6. Past 2 games, fewer than 8.5 PPR points. And what's deceptive here is that against Denver, Rachaad White had 41 snaps. Bucky Irving, 18. But anytime Bucky Irving was on the field, he only had 18 snaps played, but Bucky Irving out-touched Rachaad White 12-11 and outgained him 74 to he had a 7 and
30,
White had
something?
17 and 18. Whatever that adds up to.
Yeah.
But
between 30 and 40.
More efficient. And here's what's alarming if you're a Rachaad White owner. Bucky Irving had 3 targets. Rachaad White had 6. So it's not like it's only early down work. Bucky Irving is also going to get work in the pass catching duty department as well. So this is a big concern for Rachaad White. I would try to get out from under him now, because if Bucky Irving starts seeing a larger role and Rachaad White becomes PPR dependent, maybe becomes touchdown dependent, I would sell if you can sell now. And Bucky Irving, he should be rostered. He should be rostered everywhere if he's not already, and he has a very low rostership percentage on most of these standard fantasy platforms. You need to get him on your team ASAP. And this is another guy, get ahead of the market, because if you wait, and let's say he pops this week, and then you're in a fab, you might have to blow all your fab money to get him. Get him now, because the changes are coming.
Yes, they are.